White ginger. White ginger blossom scent the air, and shades of green are everywhere. Oh, Pooh and the pine in rivers rushing by bear my Waipio memory.
Ma keia kole ana, e hui mai ana ko hamakua poe e ho'omana o pū ai no ka wā o ka mahiko. I keo ia pa'ao mā, mamua no hoi, he hokai ko kania o I paha makahiki aku nei. Ua lawe mai nā kupuna o na Hawaii I ke kahi mau mea kanu a maluna o nā waakaulua holo moana mai ka hiki mai. O keia mau mea kanu a lako I lawe mai ai he mau mea e pono ai ko lako nohona. In the time of Pa'ao and his people, these ancestors of Hawaiians came here over 1,000 years ago from Kahiki aboard double-hulled ocean voyaging canoes. When they came here, they brought with them different kinds of plants that they used for food sources, for medicinal purposes, for house construction, and all kinds of other things that were important for their everyday life. These plants are called canoe plants. We refer to them as canoe plants. Breadfruit is an example of these canoe plants. Sweet potato, kava, noni, the tea leaf, all of those are canoe plants. And sugarcane or coal, that's another example of one of the canoe plants brought here by ancient ancestors of Hawaiian people. Sugarcane is an important plant in Hawaiian culture. It's a bodily form of kane, who is the god of life and of fresh water. Sugarcane really became a driving element of the economy in Hawaii. It became a reason that people of various kinds of nationalities all came here to Hawaii to work as laborers. The sugar industry was dominated by these large-scale plantations for over a century, and they really became a source of change for political life in Hawaii. They reshaped the land and natural environment as well. The huge role that sugarcane plays in Hawaii's history cannot be denied. In this talk story, the people of the Hamakua Coast come together to share their plantation memories.
And I learned how to talk story from my mother. My mother, long introductions, and some of her stories really, really funny. And she told them over and over again. So I learned from the best.
The way that we live the sugar histories, I don't think there's any other industry that can duplicate the way of life. There's no other industry can duplicate that. And when we lost that was a very special loss to us.
All of these other supporting jobs was provided because of the existence of the sugar company. And we had seen the effects. A lot of businesses had to close because of the loss of sugar jobs.
The three of us were offered management positions, and we all turned it down, simply because we grew up and we knew what our fathers went through. I think, for me, that's one of the big reasons why I turned that trainee management down, simply because I know what my dad went through, strikes and the hard times that they went through. So I couldn't be a supervisor or management or what have you. No, worker through and through.
Sharing was such an important value in the plantation system, and that's how people lived.
Well, until today, I mean, that's what we do. We always share.
A tool of management early on was always divide and conquer, divide and conquer. And they separated all the ethnic groups that were the sugar workers. Because the ILW came in and said, hey, the common ground is everybody works together. It's the same situation, and they broke down those ethnic barriers. And that's why you look at Hawaii today, compare it to the mainland, you know. We have our own form of racism, but nothing like what's going on the mainland. Yeah. And it's tolerance, and it's built into the cultural values because, yeah, on the cane field, lunchtime, everybody get their cow tin and they share, right? You know?
Make a circle and everybody share all the different ethnic foods.
Thank you for taking the time to join. It's been 30 years since the final harvest, yeah, at Hamakua Sugar. A lot of things have changed, right? Most people remember the final truck parade. It was very emotional and in a lot of ways sort of sad. And we never had the chance to really celebrate the people, the sugar people, because you folks and your family members are the ones who built the sugar industry, helped to build the industry in Hawaii and certainly here among the Hamakua coastline. We want to acknowledge all the positive things you folks did to help the rest of the community. You folks have a lot of memories about those days. You folks represent some of those families. Many have passed on, but that's why before losing any more, we wanted to capture what you remember.
My mom, she only go, it's like one whole paragraph she said. I mean, like, yeah, no, it's true. My mom is Puerto Rican, Saragossa. So she had to raise her siblings and then had, I don't know, maybe like eight or 10 of them. And they was all kind of pilau. Always remember I had a car, but I had curfew also. It on weekdays I gotta be home by 10:30, and then weekends 12 o'clock. So my mom brought me a watch, and then I used to go drag racing in Honoka a lot. And I was coming home, and you come around the plantation camp, and I look, the light is on. I know my mom's sitting on the kitchen table with her coffee, waiting for it to come in. So, and I was only like 3 or 4 minutes late, but I figured I'm smart, so I go turn my watch back. So I opened the door, and she was drinking her coffee. She looked at me. She told me, "Give me the keys." I told her, "Why?" "Give me the keys because you grounded." I told her, "Why?" "Because you're late." I told her, "No, ma, look." She told, "No, no, no, no. You see that watch up there? When you walk out that door, you make that watch with that watch. Give me the keys." No slacking. It's 2 weeks grounded. So it come 1 week after, I figure everything cool down. So she washing dishes, and then I go talk story with her. She just turn around and tell me, "No sense you make me the kind, snow me out because you ain't getting the keys." Turn around, go back in the room. But that, if she was to let me go next time, what, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, no, she put it out right there. No second chance, nothing. And my mom just passed away maybe like 3 years ago. And to tell the truth, I was, until the day she died, I never did answer her back. And she was dead, and I was still scared of her. Yeah, because when I went to her house, and Uji, get a kitchen window, and I go there and say, "Ma." So I know he had no answer, so I figured maybe she in a toilet, so I wait. I call her again, "Ma." she no answer. So you go around the house and get the parlor door, but she always keep that screen door locked. But the other door was open with this much. So I see her body on the ground, and I know she not supposed to be on the ground because she call them the creepy crawlers. For some reason, that house get a lot of centipedes, and we're not so small. We cannot lie down on a carpet. So I know something was wrong. So, and I still never like broke in a door. So I called my sister in Kauai and explained to her. So she started crying. So that's when I broke the screen door, because I know already. I broke the screen door. I go there and she wake up. I'm gonna get it. And this is only like 3 years ago. I'm 63 years old already, you know. And but then she was with her hand like this, lying on the ground, actually with a smile on her face, you know. And so I still thought that she was alive. So I shake her and her head going back like that, but I had a smile on her face, so that kind of puzzled me. And I was just waiting for she to go, what, you know. But then I know I won't get scolded because I broke the screen door. And then finally I put my hand by her stomach, couldn't feel it, and put my hand by her neck, and was warm, not real warm. But then that's when I called 911. My mom was dead, and I was still scared of her, honest to God. And I never did answer back her, not once in my life.
My name is Laverne Canijo, and this is my mom, Mahoy. I live in Lapuhoy now. I'm born and raised in Ocala. Grew up in what they call Chinese camp, because there was Chinese camp, Filipino camp, Japanese camp. Every place had a name. My dad worked as a dump truck driver. His name was Islao. He was the shortest dump truck driver. And they used to always tease him because they couldn't see his face. He was so short that he was below the wheel.
My cousin Stanley asked me a story. Hey, Wally, you graduating. Where are you going to work? I thought I'm going to school. Go to school? What you going to take up? Nursing. He laughed. And then my father was coming down the road. He tell, Uncle Johnny, what? You better buy 2 skirts, not 1. My father tell, why buy 2 skirts? Well, you're going to buy 1 for your girl and 1, of course, for your son, because he can become a nurse. So my father tell, I don't want to buy those skirts. He end up, I'm going to buy him a pick and shovel for working the plantation. I worked plantation almost 38 or 39 years. They was going to stop planting cane. That means the hand cutters, the machine cutters, and all that was going to be stopped. Other guys got hurt. But that's life. You had to live with it. And it had come in a paper before that, opportunity to go for nursing and doing other jobs. And just happened had nursing. So I applied for nursing. You never go to school and you almost in the 50s. It's rough because you never learn to open one book how many years. They put all the questions there, like how you would comb a lady or how you would brush the teeth and all that. Use a bedpan if they're in a bed, and what you would do and this and that. And you got to fix a bed and this and that. And some men don't even know how to fix a bed. I was lucky. My mom, when I was growing up, is, Walter, you're a boy, but you're going to learn how to do the bed. You sleep in them, you're going to learn how to fix them. You're going to learn how to cook. You're going to learn how to wash your dishes. My wife was happy. She helped me. She prepped me for tests on Friday. And she the one encouraged me. I managed and I keep on going, plugging along till I graduated. I tell you the truth, when the first time I came home from the hospital, I felt good. I helped this guy that I knew working plantation, and he was getting hard time to walk and help. I helped him. I helped this lady. And what makes it nice about it, when the family comes and
she tells the nurse, "Can you call Walter? I want him to know my family." And when I came in, she told the husband and the girl and the boy, "This is my nurse at times. And I want you guys to really thank him. He gives me my privacy. He gives me my care. I appreciate it. I wish I could get a guy like this for life." I feel good. My cousin got it. Called. "Well, your mom wants you. I took him home. You better go and see her." You're crazy. They don't want me. They kicked me out. "What do you mean?" "Well, you go there." "Well, good. Your brother stay. You're going with me." So we came here. Mom never recognized me. You think I never see or talk to her about 50 years. Oh, she talked to Billy and she know Billy well and this. I told myself, what? How can I make her? I look around and I saw the picture up there because she cherished the picture very much. And I tell them, this way. And she was sitting there. "Ma," she looked to me. "You got a picture in the back of you, the girl and the boy." "Oh, yeah. Who's that too?" "Oh, that's my daughter Eileen and my son Walter." When she told that, then she started to cry. She kind of recognized it was me. She said, "You Wally?" I said, "Yeah." "And you don't recognize me?" She said, "It's been a long time, son." Then I tell her, "Yeah." I tell, "You wanted to see me. See me about what?" She said, "Can you take care of me?" I look to her. I tell her, "Well, I told you guys one time that if you guys needed help, call me. And now you need to have my help. I'm coming back then. But Mom, if I come back, you gotta do what I tell you to do." Because she had burns on her hand. See, cooking on the stove, she used to burn herself. So she said, "Okay." And the first meal I made was that night. She told me, "Can you cook?" I thought, "Well, Ma, let me put it this way, you'll find out." I tell, I've been alone because my wife died when she was only in the 50s. She had a massive heart attack. And I've been on my own. I've been cooking ever since. Thanks to you, Ma. You taught me how to cook. You may have forgotten. Because she was in the 90s already when I came back. I took care of her for almost 10 years. She reached 102 and then she died. It brings tears to my eyes because right where you guys are standing, she was on the wheelchair. I was feeding her some soup that I made for her for breakfast. And she looked up to me and she smiled and she said, "Thank you." And that was it. She already went back. I can never forget that. I took care of patients at the hospital, but that I would never forget. That's why doctors said, don't take care of your wife, don't take care of your family. Let other doctors do them. Now I know why. Because it hurts you in the end when you have to go.
From 93 already, we knew things was looking bad for the sugar industry. And a lot of people were afraid of moving out too at that time already, trying to find jobs already. We used to have summer hire, weekends and after school. After school was 2 hours in the afternoons. They were hire us, high school kids to go out and work. 2 hours every afternoon. And come weekends, we were allowed to work Saturdays. And if it was a crunch, they were way behind work Saturday and Sunday. They're gaining grass, or I call it de-logging the fields. because plantation used to take on new land every time. They like chop down the old forest areas and create more sugar land, and they just wanted more and more and more and more sugar crop.
My name is Alice. Middle name is Elsie. Maiden name Dirego Cipriano. I am 96 years old. I got married in 1948 to Alfred Cipriano from Kukuyahaile, and we were married for 76 years. My husband worked in the plantation. He did everything. He worked from after, because he went to Kukuyahaile school, and they only had school until 8th grade. Then they had to come to Honolulu. But having 5 boys and 3 girls in the house, they had to go to work. They couldn't get educated. He passed away in 2003. He was the harvesting mechanic, supervisor from Haina to Lapoehoi. And we had a very, very happy life. I mean, we struggled, but the kids had food, had clothes, and lots of love.
My name is Adam Cabral. I live Capeo Camp. Been working for the plantation from 1962 to 1995. I was in the final harvest that day, and there are a lot of friends. Some of them is right here. I was 6 years old when I rode the train. This is just before the 1946 tidal wave.
The tsunami. I always think when I hear the ocean, I'm not really scared from now, but if everybody was afraid like me, nobody would lose their life. I lost 2 sisters and a brother.
The day of the tsunami, Mom and I were walking from home up here to the post office, and the girl that lived in the house across from the post office, Audrey Jose, she ran up to us to say there were big waves down at the point. And in my little mind, I was thinking of big women because the war, waves, yeah? But after the discussion, realized that it was water that she was talking about. And when we got Mom to the post office and me to kindergarten, my teacher wasn't there. And then I realized where she lived. She lived down at the point, and right below the monument, the driveway going down to the ramp, she lived on the ocean, the Mackay side of it. And she didn't come to work, and then I got scared. But she came up later in the morning to say that her mother had been washed out to sea. And the closeness of this community is that I was named after her mother. She was one of the midwives that delivered me. She said she had been washed out to sea along with a nephew. But they found her 3 days later, from my recollection, floating on a door outside of Kohala, and was rescued. And she lived till 1957 when she passed away. Yeah.
I tell my children to appreciate everyone that you come in contact with, be compassionate, be caring, and be respectful. And that's the kind of values that we grew up in plantation, and I appreciate my parents for what they did for us. Thank you.
But she talked about the strike.
Yeah.
When the union striked, some of the workers from here, I remember, went up to Waimea to work in the farm, in the garden there. And the Waimea people used to donate the veggies like that. And they used Pawilo Home Veggie, the outside kitchen, to make food. And they used to deliver house to house all the food to feed the workers' family. And then the nice part about it is, I cannot forget, KTA supermarket used to donate. Those days, they didn't have milk cartons. It was all the canned milk and this. So by the cases, I remember they donated
to the plantation, and then they delivered all the milk cans to the houses with children. And so till today, because I remember Harry Medeiros, he was one of the supervisors, and he was the one that mentioned to me that he said, even if I wasn't in the union, so I cannot forget KTA, so I shop at KTA. So till today, I feel as though KTA was the one that really, really helped all the plantations, donating by the caseloads of Vienna sausage and milk like that, yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
It's all good. It's all there already. You're not to worry.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry. You know, hey, you guys. You go generation, right? I know my cousin, my uncle, my auntie. That's Hawaii for you. I'm actually a third generation Japanese. Came from Hiroshima. My grandfather came here. And, you know, I born and raised in a plantation. You know, in our house, we had like my parents, we have 5 kids, along with my grandparents. You know, so we all kind of grew up with grandparents, and only a 3-bedroom home. In fact, my auntie even lived over there. So it was a crowded home, but we all kind of like made do with our 3-bedroom home. And today, when you thought about it, you think about it, and you go, wow, only one bathroom. Oh my goodness, you know. But you somehow learn how to survive in those days. But that's the plantation way. I think we all, and everybody's home looked alike, right? They all look the same. But you know, I had to work because we had 5 kids in our family, and you know, you have to get on job to survive. So at 16 years old, I started to work for KTA. But the interesting story, to work for KTA, I found out to get a job, you have to learn how to carry a 100-pound bag of rice. To carry a 100-pound bag of rice, I had to practice. So from 15 years old, my dad used to buy the rice, bring it home, and I had to practice lift it and carry it and carry it and carry it. So when I came 16, was no problem for. I carried the 100-pound bag of rice, and you know what? I got the job. And from 16 years old, I started with KTA. And it was kind of interesting because rice was something that you always respect there, you know. That's something was so sacred for all the people, you know. Regardless of what nationality you are, we had to have rice. Because when there's a shipping strike or whatever it was, or any type of strike that would happen and boats couldn't come in, the two most important things they had is rice and toilet paper to take care of both ends of the body. And it's kind of like interesting because until today, I mean, even though there's a strike or shipping strike, we have problem getting products. Everybody would take all the rice or the toilet paper because the rest of the stuff, they could fish, they could hunt and do everything else, so they could survive as long as they had rice and toilet paper. Well, when I came 16, I first started my first job here. It was kind of like interesting because all throughout my life, my grandmother always used to tell me, "Hey, Derek, you know, if you do anything bad, you did anything naughty," and my aunties always brainwash me. You know, it's not going to embarrass only you. It's going to embarrass the whole family. It's your family name that was so important. And you know, that stuff just stuck with me till today. So at that time, even I did something bad, I learned how to hide it so they didn't know if I did something bad or not. I think a lot of the plantation children were all like that. They did something bad, but they hide, right? They made sure that the parents didn't know, because if the parents found out, they would get good lickings when they came home. Anyway, with that kind of philosophy, the family name is stuck with me till today. So when I worked for KTA, I wanted to make sure that I didn't only represent my family, but I represented the plantation. I represented the people from the plantation, sugar plantation families. I know if I did well, I would find a job, and all the plantation boys or students will also have a job. So I had to really work hard. So I cleaned the toilet. I did whatever the owners wanted me to do. Clean the toilet, peel rotten potatoes. I mean, unload containers. I try to do everything. And you know, a lot of the plantation students were able to work at KTA. In fact, a lot of plantation people started to work at KTA.
My name is Lucille. Actually, I really have a long name. Everybody around here knows me as Auntie Lucille. I'm Aunt Lucille Eunice Kaliko Lehua Moniz Viveras Chung. And those names are very important to me because I'm named after people. My Hawaiian name, especially Kaliko Lehua, was given to me by my mom, but I never asked her why. Because it means the young shoot of the Lehua. I have given me permission never to grow old. I will always be the young shoot. So that's me and Auntie Lucille to most people around here. I was born and raised right here in Laupohoihoi, just up the street at the family home, and grew up more as a Hawaiian because my grandfather made poi every Saturday and the family gathered from wherever they were in Hilo or around here, and we made poi every Saturday. The elders did their thing. My grandfather, whom we called Kuku, would gather his taro from the gulch near his home, Manawaiupai Gulch, bring it up to the house, small pake man, and steam it. And by around 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, we all gathered as family around him. He had the taro all placed on a burlap bag on the ground in front of him, and we would sit with him and peel the taro, get it, then we'd cut it into pieces and make balls. At the time, he had a machine to do poi. Prior to that, he pounded it, but by the time I came along, he had a machine. And so we would make the poi, and it was the most delicious because it was fresh and sticky. And we'd all go home with our little pu'olu, which is a little bag of poi, and whatever else he got from the gulch, watercress or whatever, and that was what we would take home for our weekly supply. And the next week, we'd do the same thing. So our family, as far as being very close, I always say it's because of the sticky poi. We got together every Saturday and did that.
Yeah, people still using herbicide. I used to drive, they call this high and wide tractor that has 6 nozzles on it. And the thing used to spray, and the spray used to fly all over me. They used to use these herbicides, Carmex, Atrazine, Roundup, Paraquat, all these chemicals that we used to use on a plantation. And just recently, 3 years ago, I ended up in the hospital because I had blood in my urine bladder, and I had to go to, I think, like 3 or 4 surgeries because of chemicals. And a lot of us old timers went through all these kind of chemicals and end up in a hospital, end up sick. It's not that I'm complaining, but I'm trying to say for the next generation, that's why we are who we are. So happy I'm still here. But a lot of my cousins and family members passed away. And if we knew better or was educated, maybe we would have been here longer.
They didn't have really good PPE, as I understand, with personal protective gear. You guys never had those. You guys never have nothing. Like, I was talking to Uncle Shadow, and if he comes, then he can kind of explain, but he used to walk behind the poison trucks that would go through the camp.
Yeah,
and
and
he said that they would just spray them out. And he said that you had to walk behind the truck. I said, isn't that to kill stuff? And he said, yeah. And he said you'd be covered in just poison. And you would go home because you kind of looked past it because they gave you housing. You had medical. You had food that they would assist with. And there was a financial stability. But you guys looked past that. Where nowadays, like how we was talking about, I don't think that at least my generation would look past that. I would be like, oh no. We need to have gloves, you need to have masks, you need to have this. Yeah. So that it would be more protected. Like the work was done, but I don't think that the workers was protected.
You know, life has been good. The blessings from the Lord. That's my first priority, is thanking God every day. So every morning when I wake up, I thank the Lord. You know why? Giving me another day to live. My name is Lawrence Cacabellos. I come from Capel Camp. Growing up in Capel Camp as a young kid, I had a lot of tatas. Tatas in Filipino means like respect, uncle. Ninong, tata. So when we were small, I used to go around the camp. I used to deliver newspaper back in the day around my camp. I used to wake up like 5 o'clock in the morning, go up on the top of the road, wait for the newspaper man come, gather all the newspaper and go to each house and deliver the paper. Growing up, we had our own park, our own gym. Every month, they used to get like monsoon. Monsoon meaning every month we would have the camp old people play music once a month. And it was like a potluck in the clubhouse. Clubhouse, it wasn't a gym, but like a gathering place for our camp. And every month used to get dance, Filipino dance, and people from all over used to come. So the Filipino word is mansu. That's what we used to call it before. So I used to like go there for eat all the food what they had.
I got a lot of memories. Speaking of memories, I got a lot of memories. But nice people. Very nice. I born and raised in Hong Kong, and the house I lived there since I was 2 years old, and I'm now 94. It's a wonderful town. You know, my dad has been in business with all the plantation area, all the development of the different plantations. And I used to go with him when I was 14 years old, and he taught me the business, you know. And the first thing he taught me was, when you deal with all of these people, you know, they're all nice, and they were nice to me also. Be nice to everybody, and everybody will treat you the way you want. Do to others as you want others to do upon you. So this is a thing I've carried in my lifetime all through, and I'm still doing it.